why did you choose 12 credit hours as the number here
Sure.
to aim at when I think we're at 15 for lottery scholarship qualification per semester? So
Sure.
yeah.
Madam President, Regent Powers, currently, and this is the common practice across the country, a student becomes full-time at 12 credit hours, and at that point, they're not charged for additional hours until they exceed 18. So our current practice, and that of, I think, every other public institution in the state, they won't charge students for the 13th through 18th credit hour. It's encompassed in full-time. And I believe one of the motivators behind doing that is we encourage students to go full-time, because the cost per credit hour shrinks once you get into 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, because they stop getting charged for tuition at the 12th hour. And at the 19th hour, most institutions will say, now you're in an overload, and we'll charge you for the additional hour. So it's a common practice. We do it currently. It will encourage students to take more, because once they get to the 12th hour, the next, all the way through 18 are basically at no additional cost.
I think, if I recall, last year New Mexico State put in some kind of a program where they charge more for a lower number of hours and less for a higher number, trying to encourage the move through the system faster to mirror the new funding formula rewards.
Correct, and correct, Madam President, Regent Powers. Right now, when I was, I shared with you that I pulled those 5 bills. What we would like to see consistently is that it gets more affordable as students take less hours, meaning that it was most expensive for the student who took 3 hours and least expensive for the student that took 15 hours. And we have basically a W in our rates, meaning that if you take 3 hours, the cost per credit hour can go as high as about $200. Then when you come up to 6, it comes down a little bit. When you go up to 9, it goes up a little bit. And then when you go to 15, it comes down just a little bit. And then it'll come down more at the 16, 17, 18, unless students take courses that have a lot of course-specific fees. Those course-specific fees rise, the average cost goes up. So this would basically do that, meaning that the more you took, it would stay flat. Okay, per credit hour. So you can take 1 through 12 hours and it'll be the same cost per credit hour. But once you take 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 hours, the price per credit hour starts to drop by an average of $170 or $180 per credit hour. So it would do that for us. We would truly be able to say, the more you take, the more affordable it is per credit hour. Okay.
Ricky, I certainly applaud your efforts, university's efforts to look at making all the fees inclusive. It kind of makes sense to me. But I was kind of curious about the distribution of the tuition.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, as the dollars are being distributed, I don't know that we can assume that the distribution, the dollar amount that's going into these, well, I guess that is my question. Are the dollars that are being distributed or kind of peeled away from the tuition and fees, are those going to be restricted dollars? Or are we talking revenue, or are we talking expenditure? Talk a little bit more about that, I guess.
Well, right now they all contribute to our overall general fund and an overall budget. And Madam President, Regent, what I would remind the board is that we generate $3 million a year in tuition fees. That's only 10% of our operational budget, okay? So this is a very small amount of our budget, although it's meaningful and it's important because it's one of the very few that we can raise up and down, okay, at the pleasure of the board. So the fees and the tuition will continue to be separated and isolated in the accounting of what's generating tuition and what's generating fees, and it will continue to be used in the general fund to appropriate budget for each of those line items, whether it be IT, whether it be instruction on the tuition side, whether it be activity fee for students so that we can support campus life, or athletic fee so that students can take advantage of athletics and the athletic facility. So we'll continue to isolate them to provide budget for those different areas that fees are being charged for.
Yes, can I just ask, Ricky,